So you're not, you know, yeah, you're not led by the commercial churches. All right, so good morning, good morning. We are talking about God and Mammon this morning and how it really is and what it really means. And yeah, it's not like your church. It's not like your church has told you what it means, okay? It's like you can't serve God and Mammon, so you have to give up all your riches and follow Jesus, and that's what they teach you, okay? But that's not the core meaning of it, okay? That's not what it means at the very heart of it, okay? God and Mammon. So Mammon is more closely aligned with the ego part of your mind, okay? That's the left hemisphere of the brain, okay? Then with your spiritual self, or which is represented by the right hemisphere of your brain, or your spirituality is located in the right hemisphere of your brain. So what does this really mean? Okay, well, it correlates with left brain thinking. Okay, the ego always thinks it knows better. Okay, left brain thinking. What does that mean? Well, you tend to rely on systems. Okay, do you know those people that swear by the system? Okay, well, you have to do this because this is how we do it. This is how it's done. You have to do it this way, right? Okay, I'm here to tell you, you can do it your way. Okay, you can start a business your way. So here's an example. When I started my consultant firm, VMAC Consultants, you can look it up. It's a thing. We have a Facebook account. We have an Instagram account. If you go on YouTube, you'll see the jingles that we composed. We composed more jingles than any other Hawaii-based company. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that we accomplished. But I'm not here to flex that. Okay, what I'm here to say though, I'm just saying that you can check. You can check. This is real stuff. Okay, I'm not here, doing some random propaganda. Okay, but when I was starting this company, people with MBAs, okay, masters in business, okay, were telling me, "Oh no, you can't do this like that. You can't go about this like this. No, there's a way to do this." And I'm like, "What way is it?" And what they were telling me, right, what it amounted to was that they were quoting things that they learned in college, and they were, talking to me about the way the system teaches them these things. And I was like, that's interesting. Okay. But I didn't pay attention to them because their way, okay, there was more steps involved. There was all these things involved. There's all this stuff involved. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do all of that. So what did I do? I did it my way. What was my way? I prayed. Okay. I meditated. Okay. So affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, and prayer basically is what it was. Okay. But I had to do it that way because I couldn't wrap my mind around doing it anybody else's way. Even though that way was the way that was taught in college. Okay. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, B. Thanks, B. B Pearls. Yeah. Oh, look at you. Look at your picture. You're gorgeous. So why did I do it that way? Why did I do it my way? Because I believe in, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it Jesus Christ, if you want to call it Yahweh, if you want to call it Allah, however you believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. But I'm telling you, when you tap into the spiritual side of yourself, okay, because you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives in here. Okay, when you become confident in that, and you start to see yourself as this spirit that's carried around by your body instead of identifying with the physical body, okay, and you just think you're a meat suit walking around on the planet, you're subjected to everything and everything's projected onto you, poor thing, like that. That's not you. You're a spiritual being, and you can draw things into you, okay? And what happened? What happened with that process with VMAC Consultants? Well, guess what? I had two companies that were existing already. And my client, who was a major chain across the United States, I did not know this. I did not know that one of my students' fathers was the district manager for this chain of stores. If I said the store, you know it. It's all across the United States, on almost on every corner. That was their thing, right? Their slogan was at the corner of healthy and happy. And I'm not going to mention their name because, we don't do that for legal purposes. But we are still contracted to them. We have an operating agreement with them. Okay, so we're still consultants to them. But that's not why I'm telling you this. Okay, I'm telling you this because there's college, there's the college way, and there's your way, and there's God's way. Okay, because there's God-made and man-made. College is man-made, and there's a certain steps and certain things you have to do for certain professions. So college is necessary for certain things. But the way you go about things is up to you. And your faith in whatever you believe in is important because it will matter. Good morning, Rivi. Hey, Rivi, I remember you. Good morning. Manuel, good morning, Manuel. That's my buddy in Belgium, Manuel. Hey, Manuel. So what do I really mean by all of this? Well, when you go in here, this is the kingdom. Jesus Christ said, this is the kingdom. The kingdom is within. Okay? I've circumvented all kinds of people that told me, no, this works this way. You can't do it the other way because that's not how it's done. It's done like this. And I'm like, oh, okay. But they learned that in college. They had an MBA, they had a degree, all kinds of stuff like that, right? And I'm like, I'm just going to pray, number one. Number two, I'm going to meditate, right? Because praying is speaking to God. Meditating is listening to God. You have to do both. I know Christians that pray all day long, right? They don't meditate. And all I'm talking about, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being still for 10 minutes, closing your eyes like this, in your happy place, wherever that is, and just be. Because God will speak to you through intuition. If you follow your intuition, it will guide you. That's your guidance system. Every woman knows this. Okay, not every woman trusts this. Why? Because, husbands make them feel crazy. Boyfriends make them feel crazy. Why? Because they have all these ideas. This is why they call it women's intuition. But when they channel this into productivity, when they actually take action on their crazy ideas, things start turning out. And that's where you get the Mrs. Fields from. Locally here in Hawaii, there's tons of entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, single moms that decided, I'm because there's the internet, I'm going to do stuff from home. There's so many, and they're successful. Why? They followed through on their crazy ideas. Okay, there's this one lady, okay, and I don't know, I didn't really take down her name or anything, but there's this one lady that has her phone on a stand in her kitchen. She has a nice kitchen. She's retired, okay, and she does a cooking show, and like everybody tunes into this show. Okay, I see girls, they have clothing lines, they have makeup lines, they have because all of these things are available now. You can white label. So white label means you put your brand on something that you get from a factory that you can buy in bulk, and then you can sell it. Hopefully it's good stuff, okay? But you can find good stuff. But anyway, my point is, when you get crazy ideas, act on it, because that's what I did. That's all I did. That's all I do. I just act on my crazy ideas. Now, I don't mean that they're crazy. I just mean it's inspiration. Okay, because you're sitting around one day and you get hit with the thought, maybe I should do some cosmetics, whatever, cosmetic business, okay? But here's what happens. When you get that intuition, we're talking about God and Mammon, okay? So this involves the right hemisphere of the brain. When you get that intuition, it comes from the right hemisphere of your brain. What's on the left? Well, there's ego, logic, left brain activity, right? What does the left brain do? It starts to rationalize you out of your dreams. How does it do that? It goes, nobody in the family has ever started a business before. What makes you think you can do it? You see those thoughts, right? And pretty soon, after some time goes by, you give up on that idea and you go, that was a silly idea. Because your left brain, your logic, rationalizes you out of this, okay? Now, logic is Mammon. Are you going to put your faith in Mammon, or you're going to put your faith in God. God is right brain activity. Mammon is left brain activity. Mammon is the system. Mammon is everything material. It doesn't just mean money. Okay. But it doesn't mean material things. It means when you put your trust in something material, when you put your trust in the degree, when you put your trust in the system, when you put your trust in things rather than God, rather than people, because God lives in here. So when you put your faith in others, what happens? Everything comes to us from others, okay? From God through others, okay? But it comes from other people. Your blessings come from other people because other people make it happen. They don't know you, you don't know them, but we're connected through the superconscious. There's only the conscious, subconscious, superconscious. They're not going to teach you this in Sunday school, because if they did and you had this knowledge, why would you go? It's a 501c3 for a reason. It's a business. What do I do if she's a narcissist? I'm praying for her. It's not working. Okay, well, she has to want to change, or she has to notice this, Rivi. If you're just holding a mirror up to her like that and she's a narcissist, number one, narcissists don't have any empathy. Okay, so, and narcissists don't care. Okay, and if it's a big problem, then you're going to have to leave. Is left brain like a Democrat? Left brain. No, left brain, there are a lot of Republicans and Democrats that are left brain. Left brain represents the system, man-made things, okay, logic. Because logically, your left brain looks at things and tries to figure out the logic. When you trust in the logic, okay, like when you believe in the logic, which many professionals do because that's all they know, right? They go through school, they get good grades, go to college, get their degree, then they jump right into work. And a lot of professionals go down the road, and I deal with a lot of professionals, right? And the first thing that they come across is like, well, I get seen as the CEO, but what about me? What about me, the person? Right? Because at the workplace, they have to act a certain way. They even go on retreats with other CEOs, right? Because they can't fraternize with employees. So there's an alienation there, and pretty soon they feel bad inside. Thank you. Hey, Sarah. Good morning, Sarah. They feel bad inside. Why? Well, because they feel lonely. It's lonely. That's why they say it's lonely at the top. Okay? It's lonely at the top. Why? Because you become isolated. Okay, but your belief and your trust in the system is the mammon. And the mammon is the left hemisphere of the brain. Okay, now this is not strict neuroscience, okay? If I have to break it down through neuroscience, I can. Okay, and the difference between woo-woo and factual explanations is the way you explain it. So I want to be clear. I want to be perfectly clear on that, okay? But we're going to unpack it, okay, slowly. We're going to unpack it. So where does this term mammon come from anyway? Okay, so the term mammon, okay, this is Aramaic. It originated in Aramaic, okay, but its roots go back to this word mammona, which means wealth, riches, property, all of that, things that you have, okay, material things that you have, things in the physical world, because there's a separation between body and spirit. Spirit is in here, okay, body is everything physical in the physical world, okay. Now Aramaic is the Aramaic translation came from a Semitic word called Ammon. Okay, that was the original, the etymology of mammon, Ammon. Now Ammon is directly linked to amen, Amun, Amon. Okay, so these are all, you can call them, they belong to the same family. They kind of mirror the same thing, okay? But this is called trust. Its definition is actually narrowed down to trust. It means trust. So if you're trusting in money, how many people do you know? They believe in money, right? They always talk about money. Okay, money, 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 money. Okay, and those people usually put money first. If you're putting money first and not God first, what are you doing? You're putting your trust in the material world, in the systems, in the banks, in the credit card, in the dollar bills, in the coins, in the paycheck, in the corporation, all of these things. Yes, those things are important. Is it bad to have a paycheck? Is it bad to work for the corporation? Is it bad to do the... No, it's just bad to put your trust in there. Because you're in here. This physical body is your interface into the physical world. Okay? But people get distracted and they think that this body is who they are. They're just a body. They take their mind off of God, which is in here. Some people don't even know God is within. Okay, there's nothing out there. The only thing out there is nature and things from other people's in here. Other inventions, other creations from human beings. Okay. So, guitarist. Oh, Maggie, you're looking at my thumb? Yeah. Yeah. I play Spanish style guitar. Maybe one day. Hey, Face of Change. How you doing? I remember you. So yeah, maybe one day I'll play on the live a little bit. That always throws people off because what life coach plays music, right? Well, I do. I performed as a professional for years and years. In fact, some of my Spanish guitar numbers are online. If you take my name and you put it into YouTube, you'll find all of those videos from when I used to perform. So, I always taught, by the way. So, hey, hola, Spike Dog Ball. Hey, that's a good-looking dog. Is that a pit bull? That looks like a pit bull. It's hard to see. It's small, but yeah, I am part Puerto Rican. So yeah, much love to you guys in Puerto Rico. I am part Puerto Rican. My grandmother was pure she was, yeah, I think she was pure Puerto Rican. Anyway, but we're local here in Hawaii. King Corso Italian Mastiff. Wow. Okay, I know what a bull mastiff is. I've never seen an Italian Mastiff. That's nice. Beautiful dog. Yeah. Welcome to our family. So, we're talking. Why are we talking about God and Mammon and serving God and Mammon? Like, isn't that like a religious kind of thingy? Isn't that, sorry, we're having technical problems on the other side. I just need to restart this thing. Isn't that a religious thingy? Yeah, sorry, YouTube. Sorry, YouTube, I had to do that. Isn't it a religious thing? God and Mammon. Well, it's religious, yes, but it's spiritual as well. If you're not religious, you really need to pay attention to this because it applies to you as well. Because you're a human being. Because God lives in here. If your spiritual source lives in here, the universe lives in here. Okay, whatever you believe, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. You believe as you wish. Okay, but the power is still the same. It doesn't matter if you believe in Jesus Christ, in Allah, in the Bhagavad Gita, in whatever you believe, Krishna, doesn't matter. You are the same no matter what. If you change your belief system, you're still going to be the same. You still have the power to manifest whatever it is. Because you attract, like attracts like. Okay? I'm here to show you how this works. I'm here to explain to you how these things work and how you have this hypnosis in society where people are hypnotized because of the stories they tell you and because they're not thorough in their explanations. But they tell you these stories. So what does it mean? Okay, so I'm here to tell you what it means. Okay, so Aman, for Mammon, right? Aman is the original Semitic word. And it's related to Amen, Amun, Amon. Okay, all of these words. So at the end of my prayer, I just say in Jesus' name. I don't use these terms because these terms go back to Egypt, and that's another live, okay, for another time. But anyway, so, and then it goes into Greek, and then it goes into Old English, and then the church, okay, when it gets translated into English through church writings, okay, mammon becomes money. Okay, but that's not what it means. That's not the original meaning. That's not the etymology of the word. Okay? So it doesn't mean money, it means trust. So can your wife become mammon? Yeah, if you believe in her more than you believe in God. Or if you ignore God, or let's say another way, if you ignore the spirit within you, if you ignore the God within you, and you put your faith in your wife. Okay, I met this guy recently. He was an executive. Always brought up, oh, my wife said this. My wife said this about me. My wife said this. My wife said I should do this. My wife said I'm like, wow, this guy is really close to worshiping his wife. It's all about his wife, right? Like, what about his opinion? What about his thoughts? No, it was just all about his wife. And I'm like, okay. Okay, I'm not hating on the guy or anything. I'm just saying that's the way some people are, and that's the way some things go. Okay? But if you look at, what we're talking about, left brain, right brain, the left brain symbolism is literal brain science because it's logic. Okay? So when you talk about science, you're talking about things that pertain to the left hemisphere of the brain. Okay, analytical, transactional, calculating, security-driven, survival-oriented, and control-based. This is all left brain thinking. All of those things are a part of your left brain process. Now, what's on the right? Well, creativity. Okay, imagination. Okay, we say this all the time. And the reason I say this all the time is so that you understand that this is not just spirituality, woo-woo concept to feel good. No, this is the way you are. This is the way you're designed. Okay, so on the right side, creativity, oneness, togetherness, bonding. Okay, oneness with God, but togetherness with others. Okay, because humans are social creatures. We come together. Okay, we group. We like that. Okay, we need each other. Okay, not in the needy sense, but we need to socialize. We're social creatures. Okay, and then there's intuition, imagination, creativity, intuition. These are all right brain activities. Okay, so this is why Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father and not the left. There's explanations for all of these things in the Bible, but they don't present it like they're supposed to, because it gets a little deep, and not everybody can go that deep or imagine that deep or understand that deep. Okay, well, thank you. Hey, Rosanna, thank you. So it's not wrong or anything, right? But when Jesus says, cast your net to the right, what is he saying? He's saying, go to the right side. That's where the abundance is. That's where the fish are. Cast your net to the right hemisphere of the brain, to the creativity. Okay? What does that do? Well, that's where your ideas come from. That's where your intuition comes from. That's where your imagination is. The right hemisphere of the brain, that's where God lives. Okay, so you cast your net to the right. What does that mean? Let go of the left. Surrender the ego, and then move to the right. And then what happens? Abundance. What happens on the left side? That represents analytical things, transactional things, things that are rooted in the system of things. Okay? And when Jesus said, I will be with you until the end of these systems of things, he was basically saying, I'll be with you forever. I'm always here. Okay? Jesus lives in here. The Christ, the Christos, in here. Okay? Krishna spoke about it. Gautama Buddha spoke about it in a different way. Okay? He talked about enlightenment. It's the same thing. We don't have one group of humans that have Krishna consciousness, and then one group of humans that have Christ consciousness, and then one group of humans that have spiritual consciousness. No, we are all one awareness. All human beings. Okay? So ego versus mammon. How does that happen? Okay, the ego, left brain, okay? It's the false self. It's driven by fear and separation. You ever notice how everybody separates us? They do their best to separate people all the time. Because when you can separate people, you can control them. If you can keep separating people, Okay, if you keep playing one side against the other side, you always have control. It's when the people get together and when the people unite, right? Things change. Why? Because they can't fight that. They can't fight those things. Okay? So the ego, the left brain activity, that's where you get validation from. You need validation. You're seeking validation. You need to be validated. Okay, that's left brain thinking. That's the ego. Comparing and competing. If you're in competition versus creation, creation is from the right hemisphere of the brain. Okay, competition is from the left. Don't compete. When you compete, you're implying that there's not enough. You have to be that crab like this, pulling everything in your hole. Okay, not enough, not enough. I gotta get mine, gotta get mine, gotta get mine. There's plenty. There's plenty. But you have to understand what's going on first. You have to wake up. When you wake up and you understand, and the blinders come off, right? It's a different world. Okay, Sarah on here is one of my clients. The face of change. Yes. Sarah's one of my clients on here, right? And Sarah's blindfold came off. Her blinders came off when she's been listening to me for quite a while, and her blinders have come off, and now she sees it. And when she tries to explain it to her friends, they look at her like, huh? With that blank look, because they are inducted into the system. Okay, that's what Jesus was talking about, these systems of things. Okay, so you're more in tune. Let's say it another way. You're more in tune with the system. Your trust is with the system instead of God. Your trust has been, your faith, your alliances have been moved. Your alignment has been moved away from the spirit. This is the spirit in here, okay? You're not your body, you're not your name, you're that spirit in here. And everything's been moved away from there because your eyes distract you and they look at the system. They look at the banks, they look at the political system, they look at the credit card, they look at the paycheck, they look at the degree, they look at the college, okay? And then everything is that. And that's reality to them. I'm here to tell you that that's part of reality. There's a missing half. Okay, and this is what I need to pull my executives back from. I'm an executive coach. Okay, this is free for you guys. Just take notes. Because I can affect more people like this than on my calendar. I only have so much room on my calendar. Okay. But my mission is to wake people up. It matters what you identify with. Are you identifying with the system? Then you're worshiping the system. When you identify with something, when you identify with the car, you start worshiping the car. You know, these people, they're so into their car, right? They name their car. I did that. I did that because an uncle of mine did that. And I thought it was funny. And so I started naming my cars. What's the difference between cocky and confident? So confident is a relaxed inner feeling, okay? Confidence is not something you add to you, potato chips. I like that name, potato chips. It's not something that you add to you. It's the absence of anxiety. It's the absence of fear. All negative emotions are rooted in fear, okay? So when you get rid of these negative emotions, all that's left is you. Okay, all that's left is the energy you were born with, the love energy that is God energy. Now, when that happens, there's no fear. You're not afraid of anything. Okay, cockiness is like people trying too hard. Okay, people feeling they have to project some kind of arrogance in order to be perceived as confident. Okay, confidence is not like that. Okay, those big guys in the gym, you know, with the big muscles, and they're walking around like this, and they're boisterous. So I have this service, and it's a website, and it's called modernmalesconfidence.com. And what we teach men is to be leaders on that website. Okay, and one of the things I teach them is that those big guys with muscles and they're walking around like this and they're boisterous, they're loud in the bars and the clubs and, you know, those guys, right? And we call them the attention whores of the male community. Those are boisterous alphas. Okay, they're projecting alpha more than they are, because that little 5 foot girl, has complete control of those guys, and she just pushes their buttons, and she knows the one to push to make them explode. Okay, and but you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. So that's not, cocky is not confident. Cocky is cocky. Cocky is attitude. Cocky is the mask that you put on to try to demonstrate to someone else that you're confident. That's not what confidence is. Okay, so I hope that helps, potato chips. I hope that helps. Let's see. I need to, there. Okay. There we go. I just want to value here in these sessions for sure. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. I try to give you value every day, you guys, because I can't take all you guys as clients. I'm not here to sell you stuff. I'm here to give you information to open your eyes to the world. Okay, because it took me. Yeah, there you go. Come back every morning, potato chips. I'm here at the same time. Okay. I've been here for half an hour already, so we start at the same time every day from Hawaii. Where are you? What part of the world are you in? Hello, Father. Hey, we got some comedians in the house too. So anyway, okay, spirit versus mammon. Okay, why did Jesus talk about this? Okay, we're talking about God and mammon today. Mammon represents anything that you put your trust in beside the Holy Spirit, or the Spirit within you, or the God within you. So what was Jesus talking about? He wasn't talking about money versus God. Okay, because a lot of churches teach that. They go, well, if you have money, if you have a lot of money, you can't have God at the same time, or you can't believe in God at the same time, that kind of thing. That's nonsense. Okay, that's nonsense. It's not about that. He was contrasting ego-based security, okay, left brain, and soul-based trust. This is your soul in here, okay? You're not your body, you're not your name. Those are physical things. This is spiritual in here, your energy, your spirit, okay? So when he said you cannot serve God and mammon, what he was saying, these things that make you feel secure, okay? Whatever this is, if it's the military, if it's the country, the government, if the government makes you feel secure, if the banks make you feel secure, if the job makes, whatever it is, it becomes mammon when you put your faith in it, when you put your trust in it. For you spiritual people that don't read the Bible, I'm not pushing Bible. That's just what I'm familiar with, okay? But for you people that aren't familiar or don't want to be familiar with the Bible, that's fine. It doesn't change who you are. It doesn't change the fact that you have the Holy Spirit in you. You just have to acknowledge it. If you don't acknowledge it, it just sits there. Okay, it's like information. You can read tons of books. Okay, tons of books. But if you don't put your information, your knowledge into action, if you don't apply your knowledge, okay, the application of knowledge is power, not knowledge itself. Knowledge can sit in your brain, and when you die, it goes with you. Okay, so it's not knowledge that's power, it's the application of knowledge. So it's what you do with this knowledge. When you understand that you're this powerful spirit that you can attract anything into your life, all you have to do is keep thinking about it, talk about it, okay? You have to act as if you already have it. But more importantly, you have to be excited and project some sort of emotion into your subconscious. That's where the magic happens. If you want to call it magic, it's not magic. But you have to be safe because you're connected to the source of life. Okay? You can call it the source of life, God, whatever label you want to put on there, but everyone is the same. We are all awareness. We are all awareness. Okay? So mammon aligns with what? The left brain. What is that? Ego identity. Left brain symbolism. Okay? Scarcity consciousness, control, comparison, hierarchy, material based, self worth. Okay? Material based. In other words, how many people do you know that have a lot of money and you look up to them just because they have a lot of money? Oh, yeah, Mr. So and so, he has a lot of money. Yeah, wow, this guy, he's fantastic, right? Mr. So and so could be, right? A jerk. I know jerks with a lot of money, and I know good people with a lot of money. Money doesn't define you, money amplifies who you are inside when you have a lot of money. Okay? Or when you have a lot of things, whatever, the material, or when you have a lot of material stuff, it doesn't, it just amplifies who you are because then you start doing things with money. If you're a good person and you get money, maybe you're feeding the poor. Let me tell you about the cats. I always, people like Sarah, my client, Sarah's my client, so she's here, she's heard this story a million times. But let me tell you about the cats at the park. Okay? This is an example of some people that do good that have a lot of money. Okay? There's these two old ladies, and it seems like this is their dharma. That's an Indian word for purpose. Okay? Your dharma is your mission, your purpose, why you're here on earth. Okay? And these two ladies, I guess they're retired, and I guess they have a lot of money because I've been down at that park walking for 3 years. Every single day they come to the park with canned cat food. Okay, canned cat food. The best cat food, right? Canned, not dry food. And they open the cans and they put it on leaves. They go pick these big leaves and they put it down on the leaves for the cats. And the cats eat breakfast every day. When I first saw this, I thought like, wow. Because the first thing that came to my mind, because I focus on God, spirit, source, universe, because I focus on that first, I go, wow, God even feeds the cats. So if there's any doubt with anyone's faith, right, they need to go look at the cats. Because these are stray cats. There's about 20, 25 of them, like a lot. And every morning when those two old ladies walk in the park, all the cats follow. And they follow her all the way to the feeding place. And she always feeds them in the same place. And then they all eat. Okay? Cats are gods. Okay? All right. There you go, Sarah. Yep. How do you say that? Giuliana. Hi, Giuliana. Are you in Italy? That's an Italian name, Italian spelling. So the cats eat. Why? Because God is feeding the cats. God brings things to you, but He brings things through others. Okay, we're all connected by awareness. We are all awareness. So when you think of something, you think of someone, right? You think of someone over and over and over, your best friend, thinking over and over and over, wow, I haven't seen him for a long time. And then you run into him in the mall or, in town. And you go, wow, I was just thinking about you. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. It's the superconscious. The conscious mind is your operating system, the frontal lobe of your brain, okay, where you process thoughts, okay? A belief is a thought you keep thinking that goes into your subconscious as a program. So that's your hard drive where the programs are stored. Okay? The superconscious over here, there's only three states of awareness in you. The superconscious is the network that we're all plugged into, and that's called awareness. So when you think of your bestie, haven't seen your bestie, keep thinking, pretty soon you see your bestie in the mall. And you go, wow, how did that happen? Consciousness, superconscious, God. Okay? But that, because we have that in us, and that's why like attracts like. That's why when you ask and you believe in your asking, you receive. Ask, believe, receive. For you Christians, it's Mark 11:24. For you spiritual people, try it. Okay? Go into the kingdom, close your eyes, okay? And ask. But you have to believe what it is that you're asking for. In other words, it has to be something that you can wrap your mind around. Okay? If you're asking for the lottery, good luck. Okay? You have to work your way up small. Okay? Go small. Go cup of coffee or maybe a parking stall, $20, $30, $40, okay? And check them off one by one. Because your subconscious has to get used to this. Once you accomplish a goal, you can move on to the next one. And you're going to see that these things happen and you keep thinking about them like coincidences. Because why? Because when things happen like this to people in public, what do they say? Oh, it was a coincidence. I ran into, coincidence. If you believe in God, if you believe in this, whatever you think this is, a spirit, a soul, energy, if you believe in that, then there is no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. Why is that? Because everything in the universe is energy, and everything affects everything else. So either you believe one way or you believe the other way. So many people try to rationalize, right? Both ways. When they do that, are they using the right brain or left brain to rationalize? They're using the left. The logic. Okay. The ego identity. Okay. The left brain symbolism. Logic. Okay. Scarcity consciousness. Control, comparison, hierarchy. Okay, what is the control, comparison, hierarchy? Well, if you start comparing yourself, so when I have clients, I only compare them to them. I compare them to the first day that they started with me, and then I compare them back and reference only that. Because you cannot compare to somebody else. Everyone else is different. Everyone else has a different life path. Everyone has their own blessings. Everyone has their own talents, their own capabilities. Okay, so if I were to compare you, whoever you are, to someone else, that's not even fair. Out of the 8 billion people on the planet, no two are the same. That in itself is a miracle. So you have your own things to offer, your own blessings to offer, your own life path that unfolds like this from within you. Life doesn't happen like this. If you think life happens out here, that's a left brain thought. That's logic. And the reason it's logic is because you see things happening out here. You don't realize that it's all coming from inside. Your eyes, your ears, all of your senses absorb exterior data. And it brings it inside. But the ideas that you have, okay, the inspirational thought you have, which we call intuition, God's voice, okay, or God's feeling, because you don't hear a voice, you get a feeling. You normally hear it in your voice. But that, okay, intuition is your guidance system. That's your guidance. When you pay attention to that more, base your decisions off those feelings, I guarantee you none of them are wrong. Trust your crazy ideas. When you trust your crazy ideas, they will work out for you. They will work for you. But you need to really see through the conditioning. You need to see through the societal hypnosis. You need to see through everything that's been projected onto you. Because there are many complexes. There's the military-industrial complex. There's the medical-industrial complex. Okay? All of these things give us ideas as to how the world is, as to how the world works. Jordan Maxwell said something very interesting. He said, "Nothing in the world works the way you think it does." Partially because everyone has their own perception. And the other part of that is that the way things are presented to you is not necessarily reality. It's what they want you to see. And those things and those thoughts and those beliefs, okay, a belief is a thought you keep thinking. Those beliefs keep you grounded firmly in the matrix. And that belief goes round and round and round in your subconscious, and it becomes part of your paradigm. Let's take a look at the subconscious tree. We haven't done that for a while. Okay, so picture a tree. The roots of the tree are your subconscious beliefs, the things you believe to be true in the world. Okay, and that could be, I don't know, country people or good people, whatever. I'm just saying, right? Volkswagens are good cars, whatever it is. Okay, but those beliefs form your paradigm or your attitude. Okay, your attitude in the world. Sitting with the God molecule, yeah, the God molecule is in here. It's awareness. So, your beliefs form your paradigm, the way you see the world, okay? Your attitude towards the world, the way you think things are, okay? That's your paradigm. Your paradigm, that's the trunk of the tree, affects your actions up here, or the fruits of the tree. You will know them by their fruits. Okay, Christians say that. I'm a Christian, so I'm quoting a lot of Christian stuff. I'm not pushing Christianity at all. But you will know them by their fruits. You will know them by their actions. What do they do versus what do they say? Okay? Don't trust what people say. Trust what people do. When you see them do something, okay, that's who they are. The universal law of correspondence, right? We talk about that all the time. It says whatever is in here will be displayed out here. So it will always be in their actions. It will be in their body language. It will be in their micro expressions. If you're a trained observer, nobody can hide from you. Okay? Nobody. But in here, okay, where God lives, in here, your divine energy, if you want to say it that way, okay, is what will guide you. And you'll find sometimes, right, when you're asking, when you go in here in the kingdom and ask, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I make this decision or that decision? You start to get the answers. And when you start to get the answers, you should make your decision based upon your intuition. And it will serve you in your life. I promise. If you put my name into any browser, if you put my name into any AI, you'll see all the crazy stuff I did. And I'm still doing crazy stuff. When I say crazy stuff, I mean stuff that's not of Mammon. Not the way the system does it. I'm not talking about government. I'm talking about, like, okay, if I wanted to start a company, a business, like I started my other company, I didn't know how. The how is God's job. Leave the how up to God. Just know what you want, okay, and why you want it. This is the way I was trained, right? The how is God's job. So why would I sit there and try to figure out how? My executives do that all the time because they're really good thinkers. So the good news is that they're really good thinkers. The bad news is that they're really good thinkers. Okay? That's the good and bad news. Because good thinking, okay, or let's say left brain logic, can rationalize you out of your dreams. So you need a balance. You need to know when to surrender the ego and move to the right and get your intuition, and then look at the balance of the two. But if you're always cemented into this physical reality, if you're all, invested in this physical world. Like, oh, this is the way it works. This is the only way it could happen. Money's the only way I can get something. That's all limited thinking. There's no limit to positivity. Okay, here's positive, negative, okay? 50 percentile. On this side of the fence, on the negative side, there's only 3 steps down. 1 is the street, 2 is prison, 3 is graveyard, and then you're done. You're out of the game. When you're in the graveyard, you're out of the game. What about the positive side? There's no limit to the amount of money you can make. There's no limit to the amount of businesses you can own. There's no limit to the amount of houses you can buy. There's no limit to the amount of love you can give. There's no limit to the amount of friends you can have. It goes on and on and on. But there's no limit. I'm not saying you have to be a good person. If you take my, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, and you do it for evil purposes, you will be a really good evil person. Okay? Very effective. So this is not about moral judgment. Being spiritual does not mean, I know a lot of spiritual people that have potty mouths. Okay, they're very vulgar, but they get it back. Whatever you give, you get back. So you don't have to be a saint. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being, do I swear? Yeah, I do. Sure, I do. I'm human. Do I swear on my lives? I try not to. Right? Do I do things that are, called sin by religion? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we all do. But what's important is that you understand how to clear. That's the I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, ho'oponopono. We'll discuss that on another live coming up. We did a little bit. We'll get back to that pretty soon. But we're talking about God and Mammon. Why am I presenting you with God and Mammon? It's because when you start trusting in money, material things, putting your trust and belief and faith in material things, they're inanimate objects. They're not going to serve you. Your spirit, your soul is in here. That will serve you because that's what's connected to all of us. And everything comes to us from God through others. Just like the cats at the park. The cats eat every day. These old ladies come and I don't know how much money that costs, but canned food is expensive. I know that. And they've been doing it for 3 years every day, Monday through Sunday. There's not one day that I did not see these ladies, and I hardly get sick. So I'm always there. And these ladies, and I have nothing but love for these ladies. I took a couple of videos and I put it on my Facebook one time. I'm like, these ladies are so awesome, right? They spend a lot of money to feed the cats, but this is God at a higher level feeding the cats in the park. Everything comes to us from God through others. Okay? So Mammon doesn't equal the physical world itself. It doesn't equal money itself. Okay? Money is a neutral tool. Okay? But when you place your faith in money or your faith in physical world entities, okay? And that could be businesses, that could be anything. It could be a bakery. It could be a bakery because you have faith in, oh man, when I eat that bread, good luck comes, whatever. I'm just saying. I know it's funny, but yeah, like that. Okay. But when you do that, it becomes Mammon. And this is why you cannot serve God and Mammon. You have to choose. So, the people that identify with their degrees, with their paychecks, with their titles, eventually, right, that's what they believe in. Why? Because that's what's working for them. It's providing for their family. It's providing so they can get the house, right? Juliana. Inanimate objects are not stable. No, they're not. They go away and they erode, they get old. Inanimate objects will not serve you. They're things. This is a thing. I don't put my faith in this. I use this for work every day. I don't put my faith in this at all. This makes me money. It helps. It helps with the other equipment. It helps to make me a lot of money. Do I put my faith in it because it makes me money? No. My faith is in here. In the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Every time I get something. So next time you get a tax rebate, thank God. Don't thank the government. Don't put your, when you get a tax rebate, don't feel like, oh, gotta thank the government. No, thank God. You know why? Because the government could collapse. The banks could close. Okay, it's a blessing that you got that. And a lot of people just take it for granted. If you believe in God, nothing is a coincidence. Everything is from God. Then you give gratitude for everything to God. If you live that way, amazing things will happen in your life. Amazing things happen in my life all the time. Just because of that reason. Sometimes I have to pull myself back. Sometimes I go, oh, it's this guy and his company and they hired me and they, now I have this contract and and then I gotta go, no, this is God doing this. This is God setting this up for me. This is God making it possible for me. And then I have to pull my mindset back and I have to say, thank you, Father God. Okay, so try that. The face of change, yeah, try that. Okay, because you cannot serve two masters. And you cannot go between one and the other. You cannot say, well, this was a coincidence. I got this paycheck over here. This is from the system. This is a coincidence. Just happened to get paid. Okay. But then over here, this thing happened over here. And okay, that's God. And then you go, this is Mammon. And, oh, that's God. But that's Mammon. But this is a coincidence. Or this is God. This is a blessing. No. Either everything is a blessing. Everything comes from God. Or everything is the system. And that's where scarcity comes from. That's where lack comes from. Okay? Because the system cannot help you. But God will elevate you. God will inspire you. God will give you that divine intuition. Okay, so trust your crazy ideas. All right, so Jay is, thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Day 4 of being here. I love it. Oh, thank you. Half Darlington. Thank you. I appreciate your time too. Thank you. Face of tech. So we're at the end of another. There's nothing to sell you. I don't have a package or anything to sell you. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you for being here. Thank you, guys. Thank you, family. I love you guys. Thank you. So there's nothing to sell you. Anyway, so just some words of inspiration. I hope everyone feels and the more you close your eyes and go into the kingdom, okay, Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. The more you do that, the more you dwell in the kingdom, the more you spend time in the kingdom, the more will be revealed to you, and your life will get easier and easier and easier. And pretty soon everything is like flow state. Everything flows. When things don't flow, pull yourself back into the kingdom. Don't panic. Okay? Don't panic and don't exercise fear. Okay? Exercise love. Exercise the energy within you. That's the energy of God. And that's the energy that will allow you to rise. Okay? So till tomorrow morning. Thank you. Thank you so